What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here, and in this video I'm showing a solo flawless run of the Spire of the Watcher dungeon. This is on Prismatic Hunter with Celestial Nighthawk, and yeah, the setup works really good. So for the first half we're on Combination Blow with Winter Shroud, and that is just because we are just kind of meleeing and trying to go invis a lot. And then there's the artifact mods. We've got Radiant Orbs and Expanding Abyss and all that good stuff. Expanding Abyss is nice for our damage strategies, which is Edge Transit Bait and Switch. So we're putting out a ton of damage with our Smoke Bomb being able to weaken. And then we also do swap to a Magnetic Grenade with Facet of Dominance. So this part, I'm just going to speed up a little bit, just kind of skip ahead. Basically, I'm just eagering to the start. And then we have Buried Bloodline. Buried Bloodline is really nice because it can give Devour, and it weakens when Devour is active. And that is really crucial because we have Stylus Executioner on, so that's actually going to allow us to go invis. So survivability is really easy with this strat. So here, again, we're just doing the combination blow. This is allowing us to go invis, so we can easily get around the map to shoot our nodes. And yeah, so after last season when I made the guide, people informed me that if you don't complete the nodes, then the Supplicant Harpies will not spawn, the Exploder units. So that's really nice. So I still don't have this rotation down perfectly, but basically I'm not really completing the nodes until the end, and that is why. So a good little tip for you, if you're practicing a solo flawless, if you're trying to get your first one, then I would advise running this opening area a few times. Obviously you want to run the dungeon at least once solo before you attempt a solo flawless, just so you can work out your strats. But this part, you may want to, just kind of learn the route that you want to take. I haven't ran this in a few months since last season and stuff, so I couldn't really remember the exact route, but I'm doing my best. So here, again, we're just going to go invis, we're going to reproc Arctrician, and then we're going to get this other node going. So some people can do this really, really quickly and are really good at it. I am not one of those people, but yeah, you can run these really fast if you know exactly what you're doing. As you can see, I'm kind of scrambling around. I forget where my next node is. So yeah, just going to speed this stuff up a little bit. Reprocking Arctrician, and then we're just going to work on this node. So yeah, I wanted to do these solo flawless commentaries just with the new prismatic kits. And the artifact is really good this season for solo flawless thanks to Expanding Abyss and some of those sniper mods we have and stuff. When I did this, the third act wasn't out yet, but yeah, these strats work really well. It will allow for a 3-phase on both bosses, and if you're 3-phasing solo dungeon, that's pretty much all you can ask for. There might be strats that can get a 2-phase, but this is a comfortable 3-phase for both bosses. So yeah, pretty good strategies. So here you can see all the supplicants have spawned in now, and that's because I completed a bunch of nodes, just because, like I said, I get mixed up sometimes. So I wanted to make the lines blue so that I knew what I still needed and what I didn't need. And then here you can see we get Devour, we go invis. So yeah, Buried Bloodline works perfectly with this. We finally complete the last node, and we're on to the next section. So Bungie, a long time ago, took out, physics deaths. So that's really nice. It makes this kind of stuff a little easier. And then for the jumping puzzle, and even the whole first encounter, I swapped to Stompies. You don't need Celestial Nighthawk for the first encounter. Because really it's just running and shooting more nodes, which is kind of boring. I don't like the first half of this dungeon very much, but the boss fights are kind of decent. So yeah, I couldn't remember which vent to go down. Like I said, it had been a while, but we got her done. So anyways, like I said, I'm eagering around. Gonna swap to Stompies here. I've got Grapple Grenade on as well. I highly advise running that if you are on a hunter, because it can get you out of a jam if need be. Because obviously if you're falling, you can maybe grapple to safety. So yeah, basically this is the route that I always take, and it works really well. Highly recommend an eager edge sword as well. So yeah, there's all those enemies that spawn in, and we don't have to deal with any of them doing this strat. We just eager to where we're going, do a little grapple grenade, and we're on our way up. And then, like I said, this is just connecting the dots. So really not much to be said here. But yeah, basically I wanted to go back and solo flawless all the dungeons with prismatic kits. And I wanted to do it without any loadout swapping and no exotic class items. And basically just one build too. I think in all the solo flawless dungeons I've done, I don't really switch exotics or any parts of the build. And I'm even running weapon surges throughout the encounter, so that when we get up to damage phase, we have our weapon surges. I'm not doing any real loadout swaps. I might swap a scavenger here and there just for ammo optimization. But for the most part, it's like throw this build on and you'll be good. Obviously, that's not the most optimal way to do it. So you're welcome to do loadout swaps. But like I said, when I did this series last season, people said they don't like loadout swaps or whatever, so I just decided to go back and do it. And like I said, I was still getting 3 phases on these bosses, so can't really complain too much. But yeah. So this part is very boring. I'm going to speed it up. Again, I don't really know the routes, like have them perfectly memorized. And again, an eager edge sword is nice just for doing stuff like I just did. So if you're used to that, feel free to do it. Also, there's those little holes. So I almost fell down that hole. And there's one in the boss room. Or there's some in the boss room as well in the first boss. So yeah, also watch out for those. So here, I'm missing a node. Gotta go back. Forgot that one. So yeah, this stuff's pretty slow. People can go way quicker. But yeah, like I said, I'm not very good at this. So I'm just gonna speed all this up. But not much to say other than this build is really good for getting quick boss kills. Celestial obviously hits very hard. It's great on the Harpy. It's pretty good on the final boss as well. You can hit the crit. You just have to make sure you're aiming right. I was using prismatic grenades too though, or the transcendent grenades. So it can kind of throw off your aim a little bit. Turns out this is where the nodes finish. So yeah, I am totally fucking stupid. Here is where they start. So yeah, like I said, it's been a while since I ran this. I didn't really even watch any of my other videos back to familiarize myself. I just hopped in, wanted to do it. So obviously if you practice this once or twice, if you're going for a solo flawless, you'll have these routes down much, much better than I do. So yeah, we finally completed it, and then we got one more floor to go. So I really don't like these style of encounters. I suck at knowing where I'm going in games. So yeah, obviously stuff like this is kind of my kryptonite. So I'm slow at it and shitty at it, and I just like to kill things and more focus on combat. So these ones that aren't really combat focused and it's more just a mechanic, not really my thing. But yeah, each their own. So looking for the node, can't find it. And there we go. One more to go. And see, here's where combination blow is nice. So yeah, you don't need Liar's Handshake or whatever. Like, you can still rock combination blow. And especially with Stylus Executioner and Winter Shroud, because you're going to do more damage to frozen enemies when they're... more melee damage to the enemies when they're frozen. Plus they like shatter. You can still stack up combo blow. Stylus Executioner is going to make you invis. Like, yeah, it's still really effective even without something like Liar's Handshake. And it's good for your ammo economy as well, which is nice. So yeah, this shit is just so boring to me. But we're almost done. Sorry that the commentary's crap, but I just don't care about stuff like this. So now we're on to the fun part of the dungeon. Took 10 minutes connecting nodes, very, very boring. Let's hope the next dungeon is more combat focused and less stuff like this. So anyways, we switch our loadout up, we swap to Edge Transit, and now we're rolling. So yeah, when you kill an orange bar with Buried Bloodline, it automatically grants Devour or 4 minor kills. So yeah, we can take out the Minotaur with Buried Bloodline, we get Devour, and then we're able to weaken things. But sadly, if you like one-shot a red bar, it's still not going to give you the Stylus Executioner proc because it dies kind of before it can get weakened. So this is the route that I always go. And I just go clockwise, starting with that one I start with, and then I always finish with the same one. So here we go. We're just connecting the dots. I'm letting all those harpies stack up, and then I usually just kill them later. I guess here I decided to kill them now. But you can do whatever order you want. And then the Minotaurs, if you leave one up, then more won't spawn during damage. But if you kill both, then 2 more are going to spawn, so you're going to have to deal with one of them before the damage phase. So that's kind of crucial to know, because you don't really want enemies up while you're trying to DPS the boss. So that is kind of the biggest skill gap on this fight. So I've got Strand Siphon on. This is the Trials 2-round burst pulse. I really like it. It's really good. So we're going to kill this guy. We've got our Prismatic ready to go. We've swapped off Combination Blow, and now we're running a Magnetic Grenade with Facet of Dominance, so it can weaken. And then we have our Smoke Bomb, which can also weaken, and it's going to give us Radiant. So that's really important for the damage phases. Especially when we pop Prismatic, we get a really quick cooldown on our melee, so we can keep proccing Radiant and keep proccing, whatchamacallit. Oh my god. Keep proccing Radiant and Weaken. So that's really helpful throughout the course of the damage phase. I think the second boss is a 20-second damage phase. So right there, leading into damage, I was taking those enemies out with my Strand weapon. I forgot to pull out my GL, so my Envious Assassin isn't fully procced. And look at how good Buried Bloodline is for this. Unfortunately, there's 12 eyes, so you do have to do 1 reload. So I recommend a, a Void Loader. And then we get our Wombo combos off, and then we're just going to town, doing big damage. Again, Expanding Abyss is helping a ton with that. So yeah, pretty good damage phase, not quite half damage. But yeah, that's basically the rotation, and it makes for a pretty easy 3-phase. The reason I went Invis there is I have Slice. I have Slice Golden Tricorn on this roll. So Slice is a debuff, which means it will work with Stylus Executioner. So again, I'm just going to speed this stuff up. You can still see the mechanic, but yeah, I mean, it's the same thing every time. You're literally just shooting nodes. And the more you do it, the more used to it that you get. And yeah, as you keep hitting the nodes, it keeps extending Arctrician so that you don't have to kill more Minotaurs. And because, like I said, once you kill so many, both Minotaurs, then other ones spawn in. And they spawn on the left and right first, and then the front and back. So if they just spawn left and right, their next spawn will be front and back. And then if they just spawn front and back, their next spawn will be left and right. So we're just closing the nodes, and we're trying to get to our last node. So there, I proc Devour, and then I'm just killing all these Harpies. Again, Buried Bloodline is super good. And then I noticed that my Transcendence is not ready, so that is something to always be aware of. You want to pop Transcendence for every damage phase, obviously, because you get 5% extra weapon damage, and like I said, it's going to reduce our melee cooldown, which will let us weaken and Radiant. So we're getting 25% from Radiant and 15% from Weaken. That's because we're running Facet of Dawn. So we've got Facet of Dawn, we've got Facet of Dominance for our Magnetic Grenade, even though we didn't really use it, but I should be using it. But obviously the Transcendence Grenade overrides the Magnetic Grenade during damage, but that's fine. So here we're going to get this ready, and we only have one armor charge. So we're going to have to stack up our armor charge. So I think this is what I'm doing here. Yeah. We're going to kill this guy to get our Arctrician buff back to 30 seconds. And then we're just going to use our Pulse Rifle and take out a bunch of these enemies. I've got Strand and Void Siphon, and then Heavy Ammo Finder on the helmet, which I highly, highly recommend. And then, of course, 100 Resilience and just some resist mods and stuff like that. So here, we've got our stuff. We've got our Arctrician. We've got 3 armor charges. We have all our abilities and Transcendence. So I was trying to keep Devour going there, but I couldn't. So we pop Transcendence right before the eyes come up. I probably should have popped a second sooner there, but that's all right. And then we're just popping eyes. I really like this strat. I love Buried Bloodline. It's so good. So then we do the Wombo combo. We get our Celestial off. Now we're going to proc Bait and Switch. One more Smoke Bomb just for the extended weaken and the Radiant. And look at how hard this is chunking. Absolutely messing that boss up. So really, really good strat. Like I said, super easy 3-phase, very comfortable. I also have Facet of Courage on. So the Transcendent Grenade applies slow. It's a solar and stasis grenade. So because I forgot I had Fastball on there. So because I have Facet of Courage, my light abilities deal more damage, and that includes your golden gun. I believe it's 10%. So Radiant gives you a 25% buff, and then the Facet of Courage is giving you 10%. So it's buffing the hell out of our Celestial Nighthawk golden gun, which is really, really nice. You could maybe try Still Hunt as well, but after its nerf, and they nerfed the golden gun Celestial shot on Still Hunt, to not work with Sniper's Meditation, and they just nerfed the damage overall by 33% or something like that. So I was going to try that, but I know I used this strat last season with the Trials Cataphract GL, and I really liked it, but that was before the Grenade Launcher reserve buffs. So I was like, oh, well, that's a no-brainer to use this strat this time. So that's what I went with, and like I said, it was really, really good. Very impressed with it. And then we actually get lucky with some ammo drops. You can see I got a brick there. I don't remember if I pull out my GL, but basically as we're getting kills, we're getting our Envious proc, and once we get 16 in the mag, we pull it out, and then we stow it again, and then you get a bunch of more kills, and then the next time you pull it out, you can have up to 24, I believe, 23 or 24 shots. So really, really good. But you have to remember to pull out the GL at least once. And then if you get special kills, which Buried Bloodline is obviously really good at, it loads that quicker, but you can also do it getting primary kills. So here, speaking of primary, I pull out my primary, I start taking things out, we fill up our Transcendence meter, we have our Arctrician, we have one more side to go. I'm just going to farm some armor charge by making some Orbs of Power. These little 2-burst pulse rifles are freaking amazing. So we have enough time. Now we're extending Arctrician every time we shoot it. So yeah, you can get through this stuff pretty quickly overall. And that's what we're doing. So luckily for me, some more goblins spawned in. That's perfect. We make our last orb, and this is going to be an easy 3-phase. So checking, I got 15 in the mag. That's good enough. He's slowly coming over. Pop Prismatic once he gets into position. That's a better Prismatic pop. We want it ready to go. So I just hit immune. And like I said, this thing just takes these eyes out so freaking easy. I love it. Wombo combo. and then I decided to finish with the Celestial. Kaboom. So yeah, very, very nice. Like I said, chill 3-phase. Really good strat, in my opinion. The other characters, they could probably do this too. Warlock might be really nice with its buff Nova Bomb now. I'm not sure how Twilight Arsenal is on that boss. But yeah, Celestial is obviously a go-to for a crit-based boss. So yeah, it worked well. So down here, you have to kill all the initial enemies, and then it will proc the second set of enemies. And then, see, I missed that Fanatic. And then I miss him again, and then these are projectiles. So I'm hitting the edge of the thing. We get the next enemies to spawn. And then there's the Minotaur. And now we can shoot these nodes. So again, I had to remind myself kind of where the nodes are. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that one in the back. 5. Then you can jump down. I know I said there's no physics deaths, but you still can die if you land on this fan, so you have to be careful. So I always just follow the blade. So as it passes under my feet, I drop down. And then on Hunter, it's really easy because I run triple jump. So you can just jump twice to easily make that. Again, Buried Bloodline, so amazing, just one-shotting everything. Not these enemies are probably too tanky, but still. And then the GL is really nice for quickly taking out the rest of the enemies. So now we're going to take out this Minotaur. And once again, shoot the nodes. So yeah, where you stand also makes a big difference. So here we go opposite to where that Minotaur was, and then it allows us to easily see all the nodes. 2, 3, 4, and then there's one up in the ceiling. Way up there. So just get it before they reset themselves. And now we're heading down, I think, to the Hydra. So this part is pretty tricky. I've never found an easy way to do this, really. Again, we have to kill groups of ads. I should have just used my GL to take some of them out, but whatever. So we take out the Hydra in mid, and then as we take these enemies out, the Minotaur is finally going to spawn. That's going to allow us to get our attrition. And then these nodes are on the 4 corners down here, and there's one in the middle. So I always like to start with the middle one because I always have trouble finding it. Like I said, I get lost in games kind of easy. So there it was, just beyond that Hydra. And then we hit the walls. So I don't know the best way to go about this, but this is just what I do. You do have enough time to run around to hit all the walls. So once that's done, I was going to go get the secret chest, but then I just said, nah, fuck it. So now we're heading down to the final boss. Again, no physics deaths, so that's nice. And this loadout works great in here as well. So yet again, I suck at connecting the nodes, but it is what it is. So we take out this Hydra quickly. I forgot that that door isn't open at the initial outset. It is on subsequent runs, and you can just hide back there to deal damage to the Hydra. But on the first go round, it is not open. So that was a little sketchy. The supplicants, just back up away from them and you'll be fine. So once the Hydras are dead, that's going to spawn the Minotaurs. Then we shoot the Minotaur to shoot the nodes in the middle. Again, being able to go invis all the time is super nice, especially with this boss always roaming around. Supplicants kind of push us, but it's not a big deal. We're going to close these nodes. And now we're good for the other nodes. So yeah, just kind of cleaning up the ads. You saw me kind of jumping near the supplicants. I was just letting them kind of blow up near me. So you can kind of just bait them to blow up. And that's kind of how I like to deal with them, rather than shoot them all the time. So here, again, I'm just getting used to where the things are. I get booped by the boss, which is really annoying. So yeah, the skill gap on this dungeon is learning where these things are and being able to kill them really quickly. And obviously I am not very skilled at that because I can't remember for the life of me where these nodes are. I knew it last season because I did this on all 3 characters and I was getting pretty used to it. But this was literally just do a solo flawless for the commentary and to see how Prismatic is playing this season and our new artifact mods and all that stuff. So I think I would have had it, but I think I hit the railing there and not the node, which was really unfortunate because then it made me question where the freaking node was. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, we're going to come back. Oh, maybe I ran out of Arctrician. That's what it was. So then we're just going to start this other line. That's nice because you go invis and you get Stylus Executioner and all that. Because, again, we're killing weakened targets with our grenade. There it is. I could not see that for the life of me. Again, we're invisible, which is nice. I see where that next node is. So now I need to start stacking up my my armor charge. And this dungeon in particular, I highly suggest loadout swaps because there's such a delay before damage, and it actually cost me because I do lose some weapon surge on one of these damage phases, where if I had just done even a simple loadout swap, like I could just be running recuperation and better already on my boots, and then just something to hold armor charge. And then while you're waiting for the door to close and the boss to do all his stuff, you could simply do your loadout swap then. Like, it's so safe and you have so much time. So for this dungeon, I highly recommend it because it's really hard to stack up your armor charge in this one in particular. Like, see, I have no armor charge right now. So now I have to piss around trying to kill ads. The boss is roaming around, so it's very dangerous. So had I just done loadout swaps, it would have made my life so much easier. It would have made this boss fight much quicker. Because look, I could have just completed that node there and been back to the middle. But now I'm running around. I'm looking for orbs. They're not easy to get because the boss is roaming around. The only reason I do there is because of Stylus Execution and I'm able to go invis. And now I have to come all the way back here for Arctrician. Like, do you see how much time this is adding? So some forethought into like how the dungeon plays is very important, and that's why weapon loadout swaps are good. And again, it doesn't even have to be complicated. I've made videos on how to do it, so like it's very easy to figure out. And yeah, I just can't recommend it enough. So there, again, it's too dangerous to go pick up that orb. So now I'm only at 2. Yes, I could have ran more time dilations, and that would have helped. But look at this. We just closed the thing, and now we're coming up onto our final armor charge with no enemies to kill. Plus, I forgot to get freaking Transcendent before this, so that was super unfortunate. We do hit our Celestial shot, which is good, and then I do extended shots of my Strand weapon, just because I was so close to Transcendence, but because I was doing that, I wasn't able to bounce around, and then I almost died. So again, all that stuff could have been avoided if I wasn't worried about trying to find armor charge. So yeah, big fan of weapon loadout swaps, especially in cases like this, because you're losing literally at least 15 seconds when you go to mid, and that's 1 full armor charge. So yeah, you could run charged up, maybe, like if you were so adamant about not doing weapon loadout swaps. But like I said, you're literally waiting for that door to close, and nothing is shooting you. Like, you have all the time in the world there to do a loadout swap. So yeah, strongly recommend. Also, I should not have been running Unstoppable Sidearm, because when I went Radiant there, because Radiant gives anti-barrier, I would have been able to shoot through that Hydra shield, but instead I had to wait. So yeah, I shouldn't have had Unstoppable Sidearm on, but again, I wasn't like super optimized. If I was going for like a legit solo flawless like my first one, you're gonna think of all those things. So yeah, don't have Unstoppable Sidearm because it's going to override your anti-barrier when you're Radiant, and you don't want that. And Hobgoblins can go immune too. I mean, Buried Bloodline one-shots them all, but if they do go immune, and you're radiant, you can actually shoot through that immunity as well. So that's really nice. So here we're just trying to hit the nodes. Again, I can't remember where they all are. Looks like we get it completed. So that's one node complete. Now I'm just going back. Gonna kill this guy to proc Devour because I was getting low on health. And now we're gonna try to bait the boss around. So that's another thing, is learning how to bait this boss, because you can, and then that's gonna allow you to move more freely throughout this. And again, I wasn't doing the best job of baiting this boss. So we complete some more nodes, but look, we have like no transcendent energy. So now I'm gonna start getting kills with my pulse rifle. And again, it's just somewhat hard to do because you're always like avoiding the boss. We're stacking up armor charge. So yeah, I'm just going to speed this up because this next part is literally just stacking Transcendence, but it's absolutely worth it to stack Transcendence because, like, look how fast you get it off these Minotaurs. So that was good to know. So here, I pretty much have it now. Now I just have to run from the boss. We're going to run to this guy, top it off. So that's another good thing to know. If you do need it, obviously run a Strander Stasis weapon in your top slot because it's going to give it to you way quicker. And then just do what I did there. Just lay into the Minotaurs because they're pretty high health targets. So now the issue is, again, getting to mid to pick up these orbs. Where if I had a preset loadout, I'm holding armor charge from before, so I don't even have to worry about any of that stuff. So it literally speeds things up and it makes your life way, way easier. And all you have to do is have literally 2 loadouts, just a running loadout. And on the running loadout, you could also have a void scavenger. So those finder bricks, I'm going to get more ammo for my edge transit. So yeah, just all in all, it's just way better. So there, I run in, I get 2 of the armor charges. So here, again, I'm not going to have armor charge for the whole duration, which is really, really unfortunate. So look, we're waiting. You could easily do a weapon swap in this time. The one thing I will say is right now, I'm not sure if it's a bug. Actually, 1 second. So there, I missed the golden gun shot. I only hit 380,000 damage. So that was my bad. And then here, my gun didn't shoot when I swapped. So then I get a messy bait and switch proc, and that cost me a couple shots. And you'll see that is enough to keep me from getting the 3-phase on this next damage rotation. But the next damage rotation is the best one. But yeah, I didn't have full armor charge that whole time. If I did, it's an easy 3-phase. If I hit my golden gun, it's an easy 3-phase. So yeah, that's just reality sometimes. Not everything's perfect. But what I was going to say is right now, and I'm not sure if it's intended, but anytime you do any type of loadout swap, it's going to take your Envious Assassin away. So at least currently, I guess you wouldn't want to do weapon swaps, or sorry, loadout swaps, because you're going to lose your Envious proc. And you can see I'm getting a ton of grenade launcher shots off in my damage phase. And it's only like a 20-second damage phase, so you want it fully loaded. So there you can see it was at 16. So now when I pull it out again the next time, I'm going to start stacking Envious. It's going to be more. But if they get that fixed, that little bug that's going on, then you absolutely do want to do loadout swaps for the reasons I mentioned. But right now, because we're using an Envious grenade launcher, I would just be wary of it. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right now, I guess because of that bug, I still would have been screwed anyways. But yeah. So look at how much health the boss has, and I get it to an inch of its life on this next go round. So when you actually get a proper DPS rotation, this is a very, very good DPS setup. When you do everything right, when you actually have Transcendence, because that first round, right, I didn't have Transcendence. The next round, I didn't have armor charge the whole time, and my weapon didn't fire when I was trying to proc bait and switch. So I missed a couple GL shots that should have landed. And you'll see on this next phase, I literally am like, literally one GL shot away from killing it. Hell, even a buried bloodline shot, to be honest. And on the next phase, it does this melee glitch. So if you hit your melee, so how I have my stuff is I have a charged melee and I have an uncharged melee. My uncharged is bound to C. My charged melee is bound to one of my mouse side buttons. But then as my backup on, I think it's charged melee. How's that work? Yeah, my backup on charged melee. Oh, geez, sorry. I can't think of how it's bound. But basically, if I don't have a charged melee, it will do an uncharged melee. And then I think that might be the issue. So anyways, here, again, you can see my armor charge is low. So I'm not going to have it for the full phase, which really sucks. Because again, if I did, we 3-phase right here. But yeah, it doesn't throw my melee. It does a punch, and that costs me. So again, pop Prismatic, or sorry, pop Transcendence, pop Goldie. We hit our crit. We do another wombo combo rotation, and then this time we had all 24 shots in our... So right there, where it did that bullshit melee, that is enough to screw me over, because here I could have swapped and shoot a buried bloodline shot, and we get the kill. Look at that. So if it wasn't for that little melee animation, it's over right here. Or if I didn't miss that Celestial Nighthawk on that one thing, or if I had longer armor charge, or. So there's all those factors, but suffice it to say, we did a huge chunk of damage on that rotation because we did pretty much everything right, just the game screwed us with that melee, and we didn't have armor charge the entire time, but everything else we did right. We pre-popped our Transcendence, we pre-popped our Goldie, we hit our wombo combo, we hit the Goldie, we came out of it, we shot our pulse rifle, we shot our buried bloodline, we did another wombo combo to reproc Radiant. It's doing more damage with our Transcendent Grenade, and then it also weakens again, and then again we have Expanding Abyss on the artifact, so when he's weakened, it's hitting for 25% more damage because it's edge transit, so void sources deal 25% more damage. So yeah, you could see it absolutely wrecked. I'm going to speed all this up because this stuff is really boring. It's just me running it again. It's nothing you haven't seen already. It's nothing I haven't talked about. It's just more of the same. I'm actually just going to skip ahead because look, here I forget something absolutely crucial. So that's what I mean by baiting the boss. I'll show you. I kind of peek so he starts coming this way. Once he's in the doorway, now I come around here. Now I have a straight line to the thing. I shoot that one. I shoot that one. But here's where I messed up. Look at my electrician timer. I totally forgot about this. And that's why I'm slowing it down here. So right there, I should have went over and killed that Minotaur, but I wasn't thinking. Now the things are up. I'm like, why aren't they able to shoot? What the hell is going on? Oh my god. I don't have Arctrician. So I run over here. We two-shot him quickly. Do we have enough time? No, we don't. So look at how much time we're adding to this run. So there, I messed up. But the run should be over. It should have been a 3-phase a long time ago. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. So now we get to do the running yet again. And again, it's nothing you haven't already seen. So I'm just going to skip forward because, yeah, you've seen it 3 times, technically 4 times, and now this is a 5th time. And nothing is new. It's literally just doing the running. I don't even have to worry about stacking armor charge on this go-around because obviously he's literally one-shot. So naturally, I'm going to kill him with a golden gun. And naturally, I miss my crit. Because, of course. So anyways, we run out. My electrician timer is coming down, and this time I'm not even chancing it. Look, as soon as we step in the thing, back up to 30 seconds. So if you want to do that every time, go ahead. It's literally 2 buried bloodline shots, and these things have like the most ammo ever. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to golden gun this guy to death, and that's going to be that. If you're still here, thanks so much for watching to the end. I hope you learned some stuff. This build absolutely slaps, being able to get 3 phases on both bosses quite easily if I didn't screw everything up. So yeah, that's about it. If you're still here, like I said, thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
This was a clever incision by the witness. A multi